Hey, it's Vanessa, the Crafty Gemini. I post weekly videos right here on my YouTube channel, and in this video tutorial, I'm teaching you how to make fabric napkins with perfectly mitered corners. Alright, so to make our fabric napkins, you're going to need fabric, and if it's going to be a napkin, meaning you want it to absorb moisture or foods or whatever, you typically want to use something that is absorbent like a natural fiber like cotton. So I'm going to show you today how to use it, or how to make the napkins using 100% cotton, quilting cotton specifically, because they come in so many different amazing prints. You can make some really fun different napkins that aren't like a boring plain color. This is a more neutral print that I had in my collection, so I went ahead and whipped up 2 samples for you to show you. These both started off as pieces that measured 14 inches by 17, and you can see they were both started off with the same size fabric piece, but you can see they finished significantly different from one another. This one is bigger in both ways, in both dimensions, than this one, and that's because of the hem allowance that we used here. For this guy, I used just 1/4 of an inch and then folded again 1/4 of an inch, and for this one we did 1/2 an inch and then 1/2 of an inch. And I'm going to show you both, but I just wanted you to know that the technique I'm going to show you also works well for a thinner hem allowance like the 1/4 of an inch. So if you're more of a perfectionist, or you like the precision look of this, go ahead and do that. If you're a beginner and you still want to get these nice mitered professional corners on your napkins, then go ahead and follow along and do it like this, okay? So we're going to go ahead and start off with fat quarters, just because they measure about 18 inches by 22 inches. It's a good size. You don't even really have to trim it down. The one I'm going to show you how to use here is this big piece, and it measures about 18 by 20. I'm not going to trim it down just because I don't want to end up with any fabric waste, okay? So we will end up with a significantly larger napkin, which I think is fine. If you want to make different ones, you can pull, you know, fat quarters from different fabric collections, which is an easy way to find fun prints that all match together because they're part of a collection. Alright, so we're going to start off with this piece. I've already pressed it, I've trimmed away the selvages, and it measures about 18 inches by 20. I'm not going to be super precise. The idea is I just want the edges to be nice and square and straight. Alright, so let me move these guys out of the way and show you how to get started. Alright, so the first step is to gather up the fabric that you prepped already and cut to size. Go ahead and give it a good press. Remember that the dimensions that you chose for your fabric napkin is not really going to matter. It can be a square or it can be a rectangle. Just make sure that you have nice, clean, straight edges around all the sides. Then get your ironing board out, and you're also going to need some type of a hem guide or template. And this is one that I made from a manila folder. If you're curious on how to make this, or you watch this video and you want to learn how to make it so you can use it as well, go ahead and click right here. And in that graphic, that will take you straight to the video tutorial that I have on how you can make this yourself and the general idea of how it works. Now I'm also going to grab a hot iron. And what we're going to do is, the technique I'm going to show you here features a 1/2 of an inch hem. So you're going to fold in 1/2 of an inch and then another 1/2 of an inch. So really you're going to be taking up 1 full inch. So what I want you to do, and I'll start off on a short side here so you can see it better. Go ahead and grab your guide, and you're going to put it up in here. And you're going to fold it all the way till the edge of that raw edge of that fabric right there matches up with that 1 inch line, which for me on this guide is going to be the last line here. And notice that I have the pretty side of the fabric facing down, so I'm turning it under towards the wrong or the ugly side of the fabric. Then grab your hot iron, and you're just going to give it a press, making sure that that template is all the way up in there. You can scoot this up, continue it. And you can see that this guide here is really going to ensure that you're getting a nice, super clean hem that's precise. Alright, so once we've done that with the 1 inch, you can see it's nice and flat and pressed in place. Go ahead and open it, and I want you to repeat this, but now you're only going to bring the edge up to the 1/2 inch mark. So you see what you're doing now? You're splitting that 1 inch in half, so that we end up with 2 creases, 1/2 of an inch, one, and then the other 1/2 of an inch. So this is going to ensure that it's nice and crisp, because sometimes in some projects or patterns, you'll see that they require you to turn it under 1/2 of an inch and then another 1/2 inch. And if you eyeball it or you don't use a guide, very quickly you'll notice that it's not as precise as you'd like it to be. So this is a quick and easy way to do it. All right. And after you're done doing that at the 1/2 inch mark, notice what happens. If you open this, you should have 2 creases, one at exactly 1/2 inch, which we just did, and then the initial one that we did at 1 inch. So when you fold it on itself and fold it again, you should have a nice clean 1/2 inch hem there. And if you want, just to kind of repress those hems, you can fold them down and press them again. All right, so once one side is down and pressed, go ahead and turn it, and you're going to repeat the same thing to this side as well. You're going to do the same exact thing, turning under the 1 inch, and then again at the halfway point of 1/2 inch to all 4 sides. And just keep the one that you initially did, and when you go to do the next one, just take that double folded hem up with you as well. So I'm going to do my 1 inch first. All right, so that's the idea. We're going to flip it back on itself again, give it a nice flat press because we want some really good creases, especially in the corners. So you repeat the same process to all 4 corners. Now you're going to go back and make these corners so we have mitered corners right on them. So let me give you a close-up shot and show you how we do that. All right, so where we have the intersection, right, of these 2 double folded hems, you're going to open up the fabric on this corner, and you're going to see a bunch of different crease lines from all the pressing that we did. If you want, go ahead and take some type of a fabric marking pen, and what I want you to note is that when it's all the way open, you'll see kind of this diamond shape at the furthest most tip, and directly underneath that you're going to see this box. And the box I'm talking about is just made up of creases. Okay, but it's the centermost box right there when you open it up. Do you see where that box is? All right, so what I want you to do is take a ruler. Let's turn this on its side. You're going to take a ruler and go straight across on the diagonal of that box. And I'm just drawing it for you, but once you make one set of napkins like this, I don't think that you're going to need to mark it anymore because I don't even have to do it these days. I can just cut directly across. But so that you can see exactly what I'm doing, and then you're just going to take your rotary cutter and chop this corner off. So right on that line, cutting right through that box. This is what I have cut away. Now here, let's go back to the ironing board. Let me bring it and scoot it underneath here so you can see what we're going to do. Now, where that point is that you still have there, I want you to fold this under. Let me mark it on this side. All right, so you see where the bottom of this box is, that we cut off 1/2 of it from the diagonal, okay? I want you to fold this down so this point is what you see up here. And I think you can see that on camera where that point is creeping through. I'm going to make a little darker of a mark so you can see it through the other side. But fold it down so the fold is right on that point. Do you see where that is? Right there. Okay? And I just like to press this real quick to get it to set a little bit because you have so many folds going on, okay? So we have that. And that was an erasable pen that I used, so you can see the marks are now gone, but that's all right. Because after you press that down, all you have to do is go back and focus on one side at a time. There's my first crease. I'm going to fold right there. Give it a press if you need to help you out so everything is nice and crisp. There's my second fold. I'm going to fold it again right back to where it was and give it a press. That's one side. Now what I like to do is take some basting glue, and you can also use some fusible tape or like hem tape, and I'll just put a dot of glue in here just to help hold that down. Press it so it can set the glue, and now the one side is done. You can see how this angle coming down here is going to be a nice mitered corner. Now let's focus on the other side. So again, my first crease is there. I'm going to fold on it, press it to help me out. My second crease is down here, so I'm going to grab it all and fold it down and tuck in the fabric that you see on the corner there, okay? And you can see that now you can kind of work with this to make it the perfect mitered corner that you want. Again, give it a press, and like I did on the other one, I'm going to use a little dot of basting glue just to help it sit flat. All right, and you can see how when we continue this across, we're going to end up with nice, perfect mitered corners on our fabric napkins. All right, so as you can see, I've gone ahead and mitered all 4 of my corners. I glue basted everything down. So if you're planning to make a set of these of 4 or 6 or even more, go ahead and try out that glue basting technique, because you'll be able to set these aside and make a bunch of them until you're ready to head over to the sewing machine. Then you can just top stitch them all into place. Now for that step, all you want to do is just take a straight stitch and stitch really close to this bottom edge all the way around, making sure to catch both ends here, like this top strip, and then pivot when you take the next stitch into here and come all the way down. That way you make sure that you don't have anything lifting up on the corners, and you have a nice top stitched napkin. Alright, so that's it for this video tutorial. I hope you enjoyed learning how to make some cute fabric napkins with perfectly mitered corners. Remember that you can totally play around with the hem allowance. If you don't like the look of the chunkier 1/2 inch, go down to 1/4 inch or up to 1 inch. Whatever you want to do, use the same technique that I just showed you and it will turn out fine. Just remember to be consistent. So I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial, and if you did, hit it with the thumbs up below, share it across the different social media sites, and remember to snap some pictures too, because I want to see what you're out there making. You can post pictures directly to my Facebook page, or you can tag me on Instagram using the hashtag #CraftyGemini. Thanks again for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.